Welcome, everyone. Tonight I invite you to join me on a journey into the mysterious and the unknown. Let me tell you the tale of the ghost railway tracks, a story of forgotten history, haunting whispers, and one young archaeologist's daring quest to uncover the truth hidden in the shadows of an abandoned railway. Gather around, as this is not just a story of exploration, but of courage, secrets, and the lingering echoes of a world long past. Are you ready to step onto the tracks and uncover what lies beyond the veil of time and reality? Let's begin. On a cold and stormy autumn night, the city of Leeds seemed enveloped in silence. On the outskirts of the city, an old, abandoned railway stretched into the darkness, as if leading to another world. Decades ago, trains ran along these tracks, carrying passengers, cargo, and countless untold stories. Now, only traces of the past remain, along with a lingering legend. James, a university student studying archaeology, decided to spend his weekend exploring the abandoned railway. He had heard countless tales of wandering spirits and eerie songs echoing in the night. To him, however, this was more of an opportunity to uncover history than to chase ghost stories. As James stepped onto the tracks, the atmosphere thickened. The metallic rails glistened under the beam of his flashlight. In the distance, a faint train whistle pierced the night, as if answering his unspoken question: are ghosts real? James' curiosity turned into determination as he ventured deeper, ready for whatever lay ahead. As James walked further down the tracks, strange occurrences began to unfold. At first, it was faint whispers, like leaves rustling in the wind. He paused to listen, but the sounds abruptly stopped. Moments later, his flashlight caught a glimpse of a hand waving in the shadows. Startled, James moved closer, but there was nothing there, just the rustling trees. The deeper he ventured, the more tangible the eerie phenomena became. James spotted shadowy figures drifting along the tracks, their movements indistinct but haunting. When he called out, he was met with silence, only to discover the illusion of a crumbling wall. Yet, fresh footprints in the mud hinted that someone or something had been there recently. Suddenly, James noticed an old, decrepit railway station up ahead. The wooden sign creaked in the wind, its paint peeling and letters barely legible. Claymore Station. Inside, the station's waiting room was eerily preserved, as though time had stood still. A layer of dust covered everything, but the faint smell of coal lingered in the air. James found a stack of aged tickets, each marked with the same date from over a century ago. What was strange, however, was the fresh ink on the last ticket, which bore today's date. James' exploration was interrupted by the sound of footsteps echoing on the wooden floorboards. He turned quickly, his flashlight darting around the room, but found no one. The sound persisted, growing louder, until it seemed to come from all directions. Then, he heard a low voice whisper his name. His heart pounded as he stumbled out of the station and back onto the tracks. The railway stretched ahead, disappearing into a thick fog. As James ventured further, the fog thickened, and the surroundings became unrecognizable. Trees loomed like shadowy figures, and the air grew colder with each step. Then, through the mist, he saw the faint outline of a train. Its engine glowed faintly, casting an unnatural light, and its carriages appeared aged yet ethereal. The train seemed to hover slightly above the rails. James froze as shadowy figures disembarked. They moved with an eerie grace, their faces obscured, but their eyes glowing faintly. One of them, a woman in tattered Victorian attire, approached James. Her voice was both melodic and chilling.
You should not have come here.
Before James could respond, the train's whistle screamed, and he was suddenly surrounded by the figures. They circled him, their voices overlapping in a haunting chorus. Each word seemed to pull at his very soul, urging him to board the train. James resisted, backing away until his foot slipped off the edge of the track. He fell onto the ground, the icy chill of the figures pressing closer. Desperation gripped James as he reached for his flashlight. He shone it directly at the figures, and for a moment, they recoiled. Using this opportunity, he scrambled to his feet and ran. The fog seemed to part just enough to reveal a path, and James sprinted along it, his breath visible in the freezing air. Behind him, the train's engine roared, and its light grew brighter as it pursued him. Finally, James stumbled into an open clearing. The fog lifted slightly, and the train came to an abrupt halt at the edge of the tracks. The shadowy figures stared at him, their glowing eyes filled with an inexplicable sorrow. The woman from before stepped forward, holding out the ticket with today's date.
This is your journey now,
she said softly. James shook his head, refusing to take the ticket. The woman's expression turned mournful, and the figures began to fade along with the train. The whistle echoed one last time before everything vanished, leaving James alone in the clearing. He collapsed onto the ground, his body trembling from exhaustion and fear. As dawn broke, James made his way back to the city. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had narrowly escaped something far worse than death. However, when he reached into his pocket, he found the ticket with today's date, the ink now smeared, but unmistakably real. It was then he understood. He was no longer just a visitor in this strange tale, but an integral part of the legend of the Leeds Railway. The ghosts had chosen him as the next storyteller, a keeper of their unending saga of the haunted train. The story unfolds around the mysterious ghost railway tracks, a once thriving line that now lies abandoned, shrouded in tales of the past. Locals share eerie stories of strange noises, phantom trains, and a lingering sense of nostalgia for a bygone era. The tale delves into the lives of those connected to the tracks, engineers, passengers, and nearby residents, exploring how the tracks influence their destinies and what it means for the present. What do you think is the most intriguing aspect of the ghost railway tracks story? Do you believe the tracks symbolize something deeper, or are they simply remnants of history? We'd love to hear your thoughts. What emotions or memories does this story evoke for you? Do you have similar tales of forgotten places or lingering mysteries in your own community? Feel free to share your opinions and experiences in the comments below.